Yeah, exactly.
Hey, welcome once again to another exciting episode of Neil the Deal featuring Neil the Deal himself on Talkin Fight. Here we are, ready to rock. It's Monday, it's a brand new week. Who do we have this evening, Neil? What do you got lined up for us?
Hey, how you doing, Graham, on this glorious Monday afternoon? Yeah, we had a great
Awesome.
weekend.
Yep,
At least I had a good weekend. A little bit wet, but the weather's improving and it's not snowing anymore. So I guess we're doing all right, eh?
exactly.
Yeah, better rain than snow. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
yeah, we're gonna this week. I decided we're gonna talk about some fighters, some United States fighters that I feel have a good chance of getting a shot at a world title this year, or already are title holders that are going to be involved in some big title fights. So I think the guys that we're going to talk about this week, they are going to be American guys. And hey, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks a lot for coming out, guys. I really appreciate it as usual. Yeah, we're going to start it off tonight with one of my favorite fighters, guys, newest favorite fighter. And I've been watching him now for quite a number of years, and he's amazed me every single fight. This guy is amazing. So we'll let you know right now. We're going to be talking about an individual named David Benavidez. That's David Benavidez. Now he is a heck of a fighter. All right, he fights in the super middleweight division
Yep.
and is ranked number 2 behind Canelo. Funny enough, so Canelo's the only guy that basically is ahead of him in the rankings, and I really think that later on this year, if the fight between Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo goes down, which it will, and Canelo ends up winning the fight, or Saunders wins the fight, that David Benavidez will probably be the next in line for a shot at the title. Now, he's had a pretty interesting career so far, so we'll just talk about him, guys, and let you know what's been going on with him. And it's been a little bit of an up and down thing the last couple of years, but he's righted the ship and he's ready to go this year. And I understand he's really looking to fight the winner of that Canelo Billy Joe Saunders fight on May 8th. So, all right. So, David Benavidez, his real birth name is Anthony David Benavidez. He's from Phoenix, Arizona, in the United States, and his nickname is El Bandera Roja. El Bandera Roja. So, which means in English, red flag. So they call him the red flag, but they always introduce him as the El Bandera Roja. So I always like that name. I thought that was pretty good, eh, Graham?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So yeah, so like I said earlier on, he was born December 17th, 1997. Sorry, 1996, which makes him 24 years old. So he's not very old. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
His career started in 2013, and he is presently an active fighter right now. He began boxing at the age of 3 years old, Graham. So that's about the earliest I guess you could start boxing is 3, right? Like imagine, I don't know who he'd be boxing at 3, but maybe he's
Yeah, I
boxing the cat or the dog or like I don't know, but it's pretty funny if you ask me, really. 3 years old and you're already got the gloves on, so it's pretty amazing. He has an older brother that I have seen fight as well. His name is Jose Benavidez. He fights in the welterweight division, and he's a good fighter too. But David, I'm telling you, an all-around fighter, Graham. If you watch his fights, he's got everything going for him. He's got punching power. He's got speed. His jab is amazing. He can keep guys off because he's a tall guy. He's pretty tall, so he's got that long jab, and he's a great finisher. He cuts the ring off well. He does just stuff in the ring that he's only getting better and better. Like I say, he's only 24 years old, and he's been trained since 3 by his father. Right, so his father trains both kids, and right to this day, his father still trains him. So
cool.
yeah, that's pretty amazing. His dad's a pretty well-known trainer too. So um, I'm like I say, he's got everything going for him. Everything in the arsenal that you can think of, Benavidez has got. All right, and this is why I think, this is my honest opinion, guys. This is my honest opinion. If Canelo decides to fight Benavidez, he's been ducking him like for quite some time now. I think Canelo's going to have a bit of a problem with David Benavidez. I'm telling you. And that's why Canelo's been ducking him and a couple other guys. There's a couple other guys out there that we're going to talk about later on in future episodes. And Canelo just seems to keep not wanting to fight these guys. I don't know why, but eventually it's gonna come to him. He's gonna have to fight these guys. You know what I mean, Graham? He's gonna have to fight these guys. There's no doubt about it. So he had not a very long amateur career. He was only he had 15 fights, but he had 15 wins. So he was 15-0 as an amateur. And I believe that his father felt that he wasn't really gaining any experience and that by staying in the amateur ranks. He didn't really compete in the Olympics or anything of that sort. So he basically went right into being a pro quite young. So we'll talk a little bit about his pro totals now. As of right now, he has 24 fights under his belt, 24 pro fights, and he has 24 wins, Graham. So he is 24-0. All right. He's 24-0. He's got 21 knockouts, guys. So look at the knockout power for a guy. This is what Canelo is going to have a problem with. This guy can knock you out pretty quickly. And he's done it many, many times in his fights. 21 out of 24. That gives him a knockout percentage of 87.5. He doesn't have a lot of ring experience. That's the one thing I'm a little concerned about. He only has 108 rounds. So his fights average about between 4 and 5 rounds a fight. I mean, in his earlier days, he was just taking guys out in 1 round. But as the competition gets harder and harder, as we all know, the fights seem to go a little longer and longer because, he's fighting better guys. That's just basically it. So they can they're more experienced and they can stick in there. But David Benavidez has been literally lighting them up big time. Smoke show. Completely. And for a guy his size, like I said, he's got speed, man, in the hands. And when he smells blood, he takes them down. He cuts that ring off and he really lays a beating on these guys. He's a smart fighter, if you know what I mean. He's got a really high boxing IQ. I mean, starting at 3 and your father being a trainer, that would explain a lot of it, right? So he's been fantastic. Any fight I've seen him in, he's been fantastic. So let's go over some of the stuff that he did as a pro, right? So he made his pro debut. He was only 16 years old, Graham. He started as a pro at 16 years old. In 2015, which would have been 2 years into his pro career, he won the NABF, which is the North American Boxing Federation Junior Light Heavyweight title. He does fight in, like I said, super middleweight and light heavyweight divisions. So he's now basically he's in the super middleweight division mostly right now, but he can move up at any time, just like Canelo moved up, right? So he's been calling him out too. So this could go down for sure. This is why I'm talking about him today. I'm really looking forward to this. So in 2015, he won the NABF Junior Light Heavyweight title. 2017, he won his first world championship, the WBC Super Middleweight title in 2017. Then in 2018, he fought an amazing fighter named Andre Durrell, all right? And he won the title right there. He won it for a second time against Durrell. And after the fight, I think it was about 10 days later, he had a banned substance in his system, and he was stripped, Graham, of the title. And guys, he got stripped of his title, and he was suspended for 4 months because of this banned substance by the WBC. So he technically didn't lose his title in the ring. He got it stripped off him. So that's why I'm thinking he's coming back with a vengeance to get that title back, because he didn't lose it in the ring. So, and he's undefeated. So there's not much more you can say that he's got to get another shot at this. So he was cleared to fight. That was in 2018. He was cleared to fight in March 2019. And he did have the one fight. His last fight was March 13th, 2021, which was just recently, which I watched. And he fought a guy named Ronald Ellis, and he TKO'd him in the 11th round. So that's his comeback fight now. It was kind of a prepper. And it was a great fight. So the fights that I would be looking out, if you guys want to check out David Benavidez on YouTube, check out some of his fights. The ones that I've seen that I really liked were Benavidez versus Anthony Durrell. That was a great fight. Benavidez versus Ronald Gavril. He fought him twice, Gavril, and those were really, really, really good fights, Graham. Ronald Gavril was no pushover. The first one went the distance, and the second one, I believe, Benavidez knocked him out in the rematch. And then he also fought a guy named Rogelio Medina. I love that fight with Rogelio Medina. It was a super good fight, and in those fights, it showcases his skills. You know, he's got everything in the arsenal for a guy of his size. He's a pretty big guy, and he's tall, so that gives him that reach and that really stiff jab that he can keep guys off him with the stiff jab, and he really knows how to throw it. So he can knock you out, uppercuts, anything. His body punching is fantastic. He literally goes upstairs, downstairs, all around stairs, up the middle, uppercuts, hooks, left hook, straight rights. It's like and they're coming from everywhere. So, like I say, so my prediction, I was going to say is if the Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo fight, when it goes down, the winner of that, I hope he gets a shot at that, and I believe he deserves it, you know, and because, like I say, he didn't lose his title in the ring, so I truly believe he's still, in my mind, he's still undefeated. He's still a title holder, and he's coming back to get what's rightfully his, if you know what I mean. So keep your eyes out for this guy going forward, guys. This year, David Benavidez, he's going to be fantastic. And have you seen him fight, Graham, yourself, Benavidez?
I've only seen the highlights of several of his prominent fights, so I've got to say I agree with you. Yeah, he's something to look out for. I also agree with you that if Canelo moves forward, if he can move forward past Billy Joe Saunders, great. And if he can, then they should set him up. And I'm just saying, I don't think it's really up to the fighters whether they pick and choose. Like you're saying, he's ducking fights, but I think it's more a question of their management personnel sitting there going, we're going to match up against this guy because we know he can beat this guy, or this guy's got a perfect record, even though he's a tomato can. You know, at the end of the day, I think it's more about the management here than the industry. Because, you know, if you're going to drop the gloves, you fight. And I think any fighter worth his salt is going to fight the guy he's facing. So I don't really think it's fair to say that he's ducking fights, but because I don't think Canelo Alvarez is that kind of guy who could duck fights. You know, you call him out, he's going to take you on. And, you know, it's not that easy, though. So realistically, given all these things you presented this evening, yeah, David Benavidez, he's a good challenger to have in mind there. He really is. I'd like to see it. I personally like to see it. I'm with you on this one.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, for sure. That's cool, Graham. Like I say, I think he deserves it. He's undefeated, and like I say, if you check out any of his fights, you'll see why he's undefeated, and he's ready to go. He's ready to go, and he wants another shot at the title. So we'll see how that goes. We can only hope for the best for you, David. Thanks a lot so far for the great career, you know, and we're looking forward to your fights coming up this year, and we'll be cheering for you. I'll definitely be cheering for him. I really like him. So thanks a lot, guys, for coming out tonight. Really appreciate it as usual. We're going to talk a little more about some of these fighters that are going to be fighting for world titles this week, and or guys I believe could be fighting for world titles, and guys who actually hold titles. So hold them and maybe lose them, because there's always somebody coming up, you know. When it's always great to be the champion, as you know, Graham, right? It's always, oh, I'm champion. But at that point, and everybody's coming after you. So it's going to be interesting, the shows later this week, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming out. I really appreciate it again, and the likes, the shares, the subscriptions have been great, and the views have been going up like crazy, so we really appreciate it. Have yourselves a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Neil the Deal. Take care of yourselves, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thanks, Neil. We'll see you tomorrow night.